So guys, welcome to Xtreme BPM. My name is Mark Xtreme, and we do this every single Tuesday and Friday, okay? We get to have people on the show that make the music, because in between the week, 1 to 2 p.m. we usually introduce you to new music, and usually a lot of the songs that feature in that episode that happens every day, that is 1 hour of new music during the week. We usually get those artists on later on. That is Tuesdays and Fridays, 8 p.m. East African time. That's probably at the moment 12 p.m. Eastern, and then that is supposed to be around 5 p.m. UK time. And my guest today, who is in Zurich, that is supposed to be 6 p.m. His time, because it's supposed to be 2 hours back, and we are 2 hours ahead. So we have Dezabel on the show. He's a singer-songwriter, he's a songwriter and producer. And, you know, he has his influence, his career spans from the 90s, okay? And he continued to build up his knowledge in songwriting and music production at Berklee College of Music. And, he has collaborated with songwriters from the US and the UK. Interestingly, on the new song that we just premiered, Somebody also features a UK artist, that is Brentford. All right. And so he's on the show today, and we shall be talking about that and also some other singles that we played on the show. There is Talia. We also played Fade Away. And we've also played the new song, actually, that God introduced me to him was Somebody, but then now he has the unplugged version. But the first version was Somebody that we played earlier on, and that was in August, I think. But then this time around, we played other songs from him. That is No Good, and we played Fade Away. We played, what was the last one? Talia. And he's on the show today. Dezabel, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yes. How is Zurich? During this time, it's the holidays, December, but then we're dealing with the pandemic. How are you guys catching up with this?
I think it's a difficult situation over here. Everything is basically shut down. We try to keep social contacts as few as possible. So we've got plenty of time to write music and produce music.
Yeah.
So
and then as a songwriter, and producer too, with having to make music during this time with no contact to people, you only have to do this through the internet or through Zoom. How did you quickly adapt to that?
That is something that is actually not so new to me, working with artists all over the world. You will have to find a way on how to do that. So Zoom sessions are absolutely nothing new to me. So the only thing that changed was the frequency, right? Nowadays you do music only on this way and basically get nobody in the studio, except for this last song, Somebody, which we recorded here in the studio with this Bern Swiss-based funk band called Frische Fische, which is translated means fresh fish.
Interesting.
So nothing new for me.
Oh yeah. So you're used to working with people remotely, so it wasn't something that was new to you. Let's talk about how your career, how it spans from the 90s. What kind of created the spark in you, to go into songwriting and also producing?
I mean, that's a long way, actually. I studied harmony, jazz harmony in the 90s at the ACM, and that was great. I mean, but the problem is in jazz, to make a living out of music in general in Switzerland is very, very tough. It's a small country, not very well known for music, right?
Yeah.
So I did, like many other musicians, I had to work to make a living, right? And as you can see, I mean, I'm not 25 anymore. So lately, actually 3 years ago, I suffered 2 strokes.
Oh.
And I decided to basically change my life and devote my time 100% to music, right? So I reduced my workload. I still do some working, but I dedicate it now fully to music production. I started my own studio. Then I started at the age of 48. I started to working on music production and songwriting at the Berklee College of Music. Yeah, that's what I'm doing for the past 3 years, really focusing on that. And 1 year ago, a little bit more than 1 year ago, I started my own kind of career, producing my own music and publishing it. Yeah, but I still do other jobs as well, obviously, produce other songs, produce for other artists. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. There is a life change. Something had to shake you up a little bit in your life, and which was
Yeah.
very. I imagine that was a hard time for you to make a transition and say, you know what, I think I'm going to go to music now and not have to kill myself up with work.
Actually, I think when I got into the situation, the decision was very easy, right? Because you basically know you can't continue that way. You got to change something.
Yeah.
And in life, there isn't really many things you can change, right? You got family, you got the issues with your family, health issues. That's something you can't really control, but you can control how much you work and for whom you work, right? So that's where I actually, started to change things, right?
Yeah, and so as a songwriter and producers, what were your influences? Coming into even before you made your own music, who are some of your influences before that?
I mean, actually, I'm more like a jazz kind of driven person. It started to migrate a bit towards pop as my daughter grew a little bit older and we made music together. So I had to obviously change my style a bit. But in the meantime, she's 26, so that's over. But actually, and if you listen to my music, I feel you can still hear this kind of jazz, R&B influence, some music score as well that I'm really listening to. And obviously pop, but I try to not kind of be able to, be put in a shelf, right? Say this is pure pop or electro, whatever. You will find all kind of influences in my music, and so that's basically my goal, right?
Yeah, because when you listen to all the songs that I've played on the show, each one of them is different. It doesn't sound like any of the other songs, and so with as far as making the transition, you started out in jazz and then now you are trying to make some influences from pop, and much as it's the R&B influences and all that. How do you find it now, when you're having to when you are working with other people that probably are even also younger, like this on somebody, all the artists on there are a bit younger. How do you find working with the younger people and trying to bring your background, and then they're having other things because they also have different things that influence them, and this
Yes,
is
absolutely.
a different type of era as far as music goes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I actually find it easier to work with young people than with older people. I think because younger people are more flexible, right? They're more trying to experiment in different ways. And perhaps I have a little advantage of being kind of a puppy, being older as them. I think I might have a little bit more respect than if I would be younger. But in general, it's great. And to be honest, I work with people that I know how I can work with them, and the chemistry must fit. And so I have not a huge group, but I would say about 10 to 20 people I work with together. And I think I'm going to stick on this because getting too wide is difficult. But I'm writing own music. I mean, the key is actually you as a songwriter, you have a vision for the song, right? And that is the goal as a producer, to basically realize and make it happen, right? And so far I had great experience in people, helping me realizing this vision.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's also good that, much as you come in with the experience, you're willing to learn and adjust from them and see what is in their life, and then you try and see how to be flexible and work with them. That's also another good thing that probably people should pick from this, because for some people it's hard to make a transition, and they always want to stick in what they know, and hey,
Yeah.
they don't want to find common.
Yeah. I mean, it's the common issue, right? If you work with a band, then obviously the guitar player wants to have a major part, the piano player wants to have a major part, and so on and so on. And but this won't work, right? So I always make clear it's all about the song, right? And typically it's all about the vocals and all the instruments and the arrangement and the mix. Everything has to support that key element, right? And so at times there is no space for guitar or no space for whatever instrument. But as I mentioned before, I think I got a good group of people who understand that process that I'm going for, and that support me. So that's great. I can't be happier than now at the moment.
And there's something also, because when we were talking, actually it was before we got onto the interview, you talked about how you made the unplugged version of somebody with the
Yes.
whole crew, and you all did analog, right?
Yeah.
So it brings me to this though. What is how do you find this, with how music is being made these days, right? Because now some people don't need to go and do analog. Everything can be digital. You can use synths and all these other things, right?
Yeah.
What is your view on that? And I would like to take your opinion on that.
It's very difficult. I think it's just a reality, right? That this kind of, as it was 20 years ago, you got a band, you rehearsed once a week, and then once every 1 or 2 years you started recording something, and you had your gigs. I think that changed a lot. And I don't think actually after Corona that this will disappear again, this new kind of life of music making. I think it will stay because it's actually a good thing. To be honest, you don't have people to come here. You can meet anytime. You can talk anytime. That's a great thing, and it's very, very efficient. I've never been so efficient as now the past half year. So it's great.
So now the issue is on the part of the music. Okay, I understand the convenience of not having to meet. You reduce on the costs on how much you'll spend in studio, how much you'll have to rehearse, because now you both of you can work on your own time and then meet up and finish certain things. So now the issue is on now the quality of the music.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Now the issues of the quality of the music.
It's not new that basically all the titles that you hear now in the Billboard's top 100, you won't find many musicians in these recordings because they're mostly produced out of samples, on a keyboard, even the guitar and everything happens right on this little keyboard that I have here as well, where I'm just doing my new bass line. So I think, it's a pity, right? It got very commercialized, everything. But I still try to make pop music with a general appeal, but still, with craftsmanship, right? So you will always have a real guitar in there or a real bass player, just to give it the groove, to be not so perfect, right? It's all about for me, it's all about of sounding good, grooving, but not being too perfect in terms of clinical perfection, right? So I'm very much focused in that. So I don't quantize everything to death. Try to keep it as natural as possible, not over processing it. That's my goal, and that's why I also decided to merge all these styles together, because this music I hear very often, it sounds good. You listen 1, 2, 3 times, and then it gets kind of boring. You don't discover new things. While in good music, you always discover new things and start thinking about about the lyrics, about why did he do this bass line like that, and you start working with that music, listening carefully to it, and that's my goal actually.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think it's a good. I think that's a good thing. The fact that you still, much as you're trying to make music that is what is currently trending and trying to get to the popular part, you still keep the elements of having the live instrumentation on the song.
Right.
Yeah, and so now I've listened with all these songs I've listened to, right? And now since you're focused more on making this music thing work. What are you working towards? Any project that you're working on? Because I've so far listened to how many more? Almost 6 songs now.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually right now working on a new song with a new voice that I will be introducing, and it's going to be very interesting because it has a very commercial appeal at the beginning. Then you got this almost electro kind of flavor in between. Then you got in the hook, you got really hard, almost rock beats. And in the middle, you will have a full-scale jazz solo, guitar solo, a la George Benson in the late 70s and 80s. And that was my goal, is to basically put it all together and, make it sound homogenic and as one thing, right? So yeah, so that is something that is going to come out very, very soon.
Oh, can't wait. So how is how is the scene then in Switzerland now? Because you said there is not much of a big jazz scene. What is the main, let's say, what is the main genre of music over there that is much more in the mainstream?
I honestly can't tell you. I mean, there is a jazz scene, but a country of 10 million, can't really create a huge kind of scene. But in terms of radio, I would say most is very, very commercial. Some of my music gets played here, some doesn't, because it's too progressive, right? That's,
who knew that?
Swiss.
Yeah, who knew that being progressive would be bad?
Yeah, I mean, it's so obvious that certain music that I feel like, when it comes to you, which is a very smooth kind of song, gets played in Switzerland, doesn't get played, in the UK or in the US. And while the more progressive stuff like Telia doesn't get played at all in Switzerland, but gets played a lot all over the world.
I like it. I love it.
Yeah. So, but it's kind of a Swiss quality of being standard.
That's it. And then how does now you as an artist who's trying to make who is trying to craft and put your work out there then. So how do you maneuver this? How do you manage to stay above all this and still keep making music? What keeps you going?
I mean, things that keep me going is stuff like we do right now, like interviews from all over the world, getting everyday mails and messages about, what kind of feelings that certain people, my music perceives, about these comments. I mean, that's so great. And even looking at, at my Spotify statistics, you got the Spotify for artists, and then you see something like 35 people listening right now, your music. I mean, that's great. That's my motivation. And yeah, and a friend of mine actually told me, after she realized that I was fully dedicated on music, she said, "You are so smart, because what I do, when I'm gone, nothing is left for me. But when you are gone, then your music is still going to be there." And so, yeah, that's great.
I think that is where that's where we kind of have to appreciate, the new avenues for as far as the advancement in technology has gone, because the fact that much as we can, as far as the quality goes, we can have our, because even me, I like listening to real songs that I can listen to over and over again. I don't like listening to stuff that I don't want to listen to again. I want replay value. I know that has kind of gone down because of how easy it has become, that I don't need to have a full band to make music. But one thing we can appreciate is how much there has been accessibility because of the advancements in technology, like how I'm able to listen to your song when you're in Switzerland and you haven't been to Uganda, and I'm able to connect with you and have the song on and know and listen to any other thing that you've done, unlike what was happening 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And many people, they complain about Spotify and you don't get paid as much. Yes, that's true. But on the other hand, you can be listened everywhere on the planet. 20 years ago, you needed a label to get heard. Nowadays, you don't need a label. Just the only thing that can hold you back is being lazy, right? So everybody got the opportunity at very low costs, and with the technology we've got today, basically everybody with a few $100s can produce their own music and release it. And so it got very competitive because of that, but everybody's got the chance. And the only thing I can see in terms of differences between artists is, more committed people and less committed people. And it's all about commitment.
Yeah, I think that's much better, because a few years ago I used to make only, because when we would do on the radio, they would say, we want to have people that are in the mainstream, let's say even in Africa, and then if we're having interviews from any artists elsewhere that are out of the continent, they have to be people that are very, as quote unquote, big, because of the labels and how much they expose this. But ever since I said, what, I need to go, there is a whole different scene of very amazing artists that aren't on the label, but are really amazing artists and have dedicated their life to making music. I said I'll make that my own part. If it is any other journey that I have to get into, that is what I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the thing is now with this whole Spotify streaming world, where everything works on algorithms, it's even more important to frequently publish songs. It's over the time of every 2 years releasing an album. These times are over. It's really all about continuity, and so my goal is basically every second month latest to release a new song, to just always stay in the algorithms, right?
Yeah, that's how it works, and it's a good thing. People, you don't have to now focus on making an album for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. You can always put out a song 2 months, put out a song and keep in the conversation. And that's what I like. And also, guys, the Dezabel, that's the name of the artist. All right, Dezabel. Go out and check out the music on all streaming platforms. And there are songs that we have on the show. We have Somebody. Then there is Telia. There is Fade Away. There is also No Good.
No.
Yes. So that's songs that, those ones we have them on the station. Those ones get to be played. So guys, You can go stream, check them out. And how can people find you, let's say on social media and any other place that they can get access to you and your music?
I mean, the easiest part is probably going to www.dezabel.com. And from there, you'll find all links to my music, all social links, and buy links, streaming links. And perhaps one thing I would like to add on somebody, on the new release Unplugged, it's available for free. So everybody can download it for free on my website. And if you want to give something, feel free to do so. Every single dollar we're going to collect, we're going to donate it to an organization that treats disabled children.
That's so. What an amazing thing to do. You're getting music, but if you really appreciate art, which I think everyone should, because it takes time, it takes commitment, it takes a lot of things to make sure that the music is done. Still, you know, donate. You won't feel like you're buying the song. You will be donating to help someone out there. Okay, that is on the website dezabel.com. Okay, guys, support. And the unplugged video is that's amazing.
Thank you.
I think I've probably watched it like 4 or 5 times.
Oh wow. Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, I like it. I like the band and how, you know, even how they perform the song. And remember, because we had the song before and then you put out the unplugged version of the song, and then I like how you get that feeling again of listening to music. Like, not everything is not too clean, too perfect, and too, you know, too processed, and then you get the actual feeling of someone performing live, even when you're watching it on video and it's done for you to watch.
Right. I mean, that was really our goal, to keep it as natural as possible. I mean, Frische Fische, the Fresh Fish Band, they're fantastic musicians. Ben Botfield, great voice out of Manchester. And I wanted to you know, show that basically, right?
You did show that. So guys, the song is Somebody, the unplugged version. Go to his website. It's for free. Dezabel.com. You'll get the unplugged version of the song on video. Okay. And so you said, as we get out, you know, you said your daughter is you're making music with her. Is she also singing?
And not anymore. She got out of it. She started studying, but we had our own YouTube channel. You can actually check. It's Project 8309. You will see her singing a lot. She was actually very successful, but she decided to, you know, be on the safe side, studying and and now starting to make. You know, to do real working, right? I mean, she calls that way, but yeah.
What is it? What is it that, why don't you think it's that way?
I mean, she basically does what many Swiss do. She works for a bank. So, and previously she did her, how do you say, trainee program. She made
internship.
Yeah, she made it on a Swiss chocolate factory, so in the marketing. So typical Swiss kind of thing. But I must say, she's always here. I always present her my new songs, and I always want her feedback. And she's kind of a very, very good measurement for me to know if the song is going to be successful or not. So, and she's obviously very honest. She's not a friend who tries to like you, right? She's very open to me and says, I don't like that, that's crap. Or she likes it. And so I use her, you know, kind of.
So she's the A&R.
Yeah. Basically she is, yes.
Shout outs to her, guys. And if you want to check out the YouTube channel, it's Project 839, right?
8309.
8309. Yes, that's a project. That's the YouTube channel, and you'll see Dezabel with his daughter, and you know, she's not doing music anymore anyway. So, but maybe she will sometime, just like how you went, did work, and then came back.
Never know.
So it's been great, you know, talking to you. This has been a good conversation to have with you.
Thank you very much for having me.
And I can't wait for the next project. You told me how you've fused a lot of things in there. I can't wait to listen to it.
Great. It's going to be out in about a month. So.
All right. So we'll be on the lookout for that, guys. Dezabel. That's on. That is DAZ or Z. Then ABEL. That is on all streaming platforms, and the website is dezabel.com. Thank you so much for being on the show. And this is the Xtreme BPM guys, every Tuesday and Friday. And if you miss any of the conversations, you can go to any podcast app of choice, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and just search for the Xtreme BPM, and you'll get all the conversations that we have on the show. So thank you so much. It's been great having you on the show, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Same to you.
Yeah, thank you. And guys, that's it.